Update show starring John Krawczynski from The Athletic. I'm Jim Souhan from the Star Tribune and TalkNorth.com. If you missed it, we did our first Talk North Sports Report with Mark Rosen emceeing last night at Parlay Kitchen and Bar downtown Minneapolis. It was a blast. Lineup was Mark Rosen, Lavelle Eniel III, Michael Russo, John Krawczynski, and myself. A bunch of stars and me. Went great. Give it a listen. I think you'll enjoy it. We hit all the topics. We'll hit some of those topics here today on the Viking Update Show. The Viking Update Show is coming to you from the Aquarius Home Services Studio and is presented to you by Giggly THC Beverages. Giggly also is sponsoring the Talk North Sports Report. If you haven't tried them yet, Russo tried it last night. Rosen took some home. Rosen doesn't drink, and he wants that kind of chill, feeling you can get from drinking a good THC drink. Russo tried my blueberry lemonade. He loved it. He took some home. He's going to go out and buy some. We have a promo code, Giggly North, Gigli North. We'll get you 50% off your first order. You can go to giggly.com, Gigli.com, and they will ship nationwide. They're basically at every liquor store. They're at all the Quick Trips. If you go someplace, you will see them. I see them everywhere I go. Very few ingredients, fruit juices, no chemicals, other than the THC, which has a nice effect on you. It's low calorie, it's low price, and it makes you feel good. It tastes great. I highly recommend it. My favorite is blueberry lemonade, but pineapple mojito, I think, is Andrew Height's favorite. Blood orange margarita. They have teas. They have seltzers. Check them out. We do appreciate it. Thanks to Giggly. All right, let's get to it. Kwesi Odofa-Mensah spoke earlier this week, and I appreciate the fact that he's honest. I also am sometimes puzzled by what I think is his lack of savvy in terms of what he says and the effect it may have on the fan base. Or maybe he just doesn't care. Maybe he only cares about reality. Maybe he doesn't care about perception. What was your takeaway from listening to him talk this week?
Yeah, Jim. I think I would probably lean toward the latter of your suggestions there because we do, and we have seen so many times, general managers, head coaches, people in positions of power with these organizations come out and give their spin, manage the story the way that they want to do it, to try to make it as clean or look as favorable to them as possible. And Kwesi Odofa-Mensah does not seem to have the patience for that. I think that maybe he wants to appear as a little more transparent, or maybe he just doesn't want to feel like he has to concoct, storylines that he would have to adhere to later on, should things change. Whatever the reason was, though, I did think it was very, very interesting the way that he went about addressing the media on Wednesday. And just kind of not sort of nipping in the bud this whole Aaron Rodgers saga the way that he very well could have if he just got up there and said, hey guys, look, yes, we looked at all of our options, but JJ's our guy. We're going forward with that, and that's the end of the story. He did not do that, which just I think does leave the door open not only for just Aaron Rodgers consideration, but certainly speculation on, from all of us in the media until Aaron Rodgers signs somewhere else or until they sign their own veteran backup that says, you know what, this is the group and that's what they're staying with.
You and I kick around. You and I agree on a lot of things. We're coming at the Aaron Rodgers things from different angles. I think you're like, to summarize and tell me if I'm wrong, you feel like the interest is real, the possibility is real. I feel like they're just leaving the door open because it would be foolish to close the door. You don't know what's going to happen. JJ McCarthy could hurt his knee tomorrow, and they might need Aaron Rodgers all of a sudden. Interesting talking to Jeff Diamond. He pointed out that April 28th, Jeff Diamond the former Vikings general manager, does a show on this network. He's very insightful. Has a lot of strong opinions about the Rodgers saga. And he said he thinks that they're just waiting for that April 28th deadline to pass so they can sign a backup quarterback without hurting any of their potential compensatory picks. Also, veteran quarterbacks like Ryan Tannehill are probably looking around saying, I don't want to be Kirk Cousins. I want to see what these teams take in the draft. Then I'll know where I should go. I think that's where it's at. So let's do this with the Rodgers story. You tell me what you think should happen and what you think could happen. And then I'll tell you what I think should and could happen with the Vikings quarterback room in the next few months.
Yeah. So, here's my brief kind of overview on my view of the whole situation right now is that, I think that if it were merely a compensatory draft pick situation, I think it would be easy for the Vikings, for Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, for anyone within the organization to either publicly or sort of on the sly privately, message to any number of reporters out there that, hey, you know what? We're not really interested in Aaron. We really believe in JJ. We're going to look for someone that's going to be a great partner and mentor for him. And we're going to go forward with that. But Aaron Rodgers is such a polarizing player, all of the above, that the Vikings would be well within the right. And that's where I'm at, Jim, is in the should category. What should they do? I think they should just move forward, move past Aaron Rodgers. And, I don't think that he is the right quarterback for this situation with a young, impressionable quarterback who's going into his second year, who you really believe is the future of this franchise. I don't think that's a great environment for JJ McCarthy to be in. And I also think that at this stage of his career, and I could be completely wrong, I don't think that Aaron Rodgers is good enough anymore to warrant this interest from the Vikings and to potentially kind of turn this situation into a circus, which is what it would be when Aaron Rodgers arrives. So I think that they should move on. I think it should be a Ryan Tannehill. It should be, just kind of a veteran journeyman quarterback who can hold down a spot, win you a couple of games if JJ gets hurt. But if not, that's, you just move on. But what could they do? I still do believe, with the reporting at our place and at others, that they are really leaving the door open where if JJ McCarthy either gets hurt early on in the off-season training camp sort of situation or just does not look ready to lead a team that is going to enter the season with real expectations, given all of the things they were able to accomplish in free agency, I think that they still could revisit Aaron Rodgers and say, hey, Aaron, you ready to go? We think that JJ needs at least just one more year. Come on in and let's ride this thing. That's what I think is still very much on the table.
Yeah. And I absolutely agree with you with what they should do. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll give me a full answer in a second. First, I want to ask you, have you ever driven past a piece of land and wondered who owns that? Or maybe you need to know exactly where a property line runs. That's where Onyx Hunt comes in. And it's not just for hunters. There are folks using Onyx for their jobs every day throughout the country, from farmers and ranchers mapping out their fields, wildland firefighters navigating rough terrain, to construction workers needing to know who owns what property. This app offers something for everyone. If you need the best land ownership maps, aerial imagery, and property boundaries in your pocket, Onyx Hunt is the tool for the job. Try it free for 7 days. Download Onyx Hunt in the app or Google Play Store, or visit onyxmaps.com/hunt to get started. Thanks also to Aquarius Home Services.
Scott for Aquarius Home Services, your independent authorized Connecticut dealer, bringing some spring magic to your water. Need a clear fix for your cloudy water? Ready to ditch dry, itchy skin, ugly rust stains, and spotty dishes that look like they lost a snowball fight? Schedule your free water analysis at AquariusHomeservices.com to learn how you can enjoy worry-free water and save up to 25% on a Connecticut whole home system. Aquarius, earning the right to be recommended.
So I think we're in agreement on what should happen. I think it's time to turn the page. It's time to give the guy you think is going to be your franchise quarterback a chance. Start developing him, even if he's not ready to win a championship this year. Eventually, you got to make the move. You have a great roster, but you should have a great roster next year too. Maybe this is a stepping stone year. Maybe he's Patrick Mahomes. Who knows? And I guess we don't differ that much. I think my view is that it's smart not to slam the door on Rodgers because, again, McCarthy could get hurt playing golf tomorrow. He get hurt in July. He get hurt in August. He could fail. And at the trading deadline, Aaron Rodgers might be the logical guy to trade for to try to save the season. So you don't want to come out and say, we don't want Aaron Rodgers. There are too many negatives attached to that. I still My guess here, my belief is that they will end up not making an offer to Aaron Rodgers, and they will go into the season with McCarthy. What Jeff Diamond pointed out, he put it in perspective for me in this way. He said, okay, so you sign Aaron Rodgers, you kick the can down the road on McCarthy. Let's say Aaron Rodgers has a good year for you. It's certainly possible. You go to the playoffs. Maybe he looks good in the playoffs. Well, then, and if he comes here, he's going to want more than a 1-year deal. Well, then would you bench a Hall of Fame quarterback who took you to the playoffs in favor of J.J. McCarthy? You might get to a point where J.J. McCarthy's not playing until his fourth year. And one of the reasons you want to draft a quarterback is so you can have a young guy playing on a rookie contract that enables you to make all these other moves they made in free agency.
I mean, all of that makes a lot of sense. And I would still say where I stand, and I think where a lot of the reporting at The Athletic has been, is that not that this is a likely scenario, because I still do think it's a long shot that Aaron Rodgers ends up with the Vikings. But I think that it feels like the one thing that is tripping me up right now in terms of being able to completely turn the page on the situation is, why wouldn't Kwesi say on Wednesday, and again, you don't have to say we do not want Aaron Rodgers, but wouldn't it behoove him to say, we love J.J. McCarthy. He is our guy. We are going forward with him as the starter. And then if he does get hurt, if something does happen, you can say, you know what? We were all in. Circumstances changed. We have gone a different route here. We have to pivot, for one reason or another. Every time that you see, a young quarterback in a situation like this, you almost always see the organization throw its entire weight behind him and just say, yep, this is our guy. We believe in him. We're going forward with him. We've got his back. He's put the work in. He's ready to go. We're ready to go. Even if you don't believe that as much privately, that's why I just keep coming back to, why isn't there a more forceful endorsement of J.J. McCarthy right now? Because even if those circumstances change and he tears his Achilles while he's golfing, you could say, hey, we didn't foresee that coming. We're shifting gears. We're going forward with Rodgers and go that way. I don't see the logic behind the, hey, we hope he's ready. Hey, he can earn it. We want him to do that. But the tepid, I guess, endorsement so far.
Yeah, I do find it bizarre. And what adds to the bizarreness is, Kwesi has two major strengths that we've seen. One is acquiring veterans, whether it's free agency or trade. The other is I think he runs a good organization, which is important. Sometimes fans are always just looking at, the bright, shiny object, but what these people do behind the scenes, how they run their organization is really important. I think he runs a good organization. His weakness has been drafting, and what could change the entire narrative around him and his career is if J.J. McCarthy and Dallas Turner end up being stars. So yeah. I don't know. And the plan obviously has been to move to J.J. McCarthy. And what I was hearing from the organization, the people I talked to over there at the end of the regular season was, maybe it's a blessing that Darnold collapsed, because everybody wants this to be J.J. McCarthy's team as soon as possible. And now we can just do that. So the question is Kwesi being calculating and not completely endorsing McCarthy, or is it just the way he does things?
Yeah. And I guess, I don't know the answer to that. And there is a possibility, Jim, that this is Kwesi kind of trying to almost send a message to JJ of, hey, nothing is given. It's earned. You better be, ready to go and be focused all off season here. Pour yourself into the playbook, the off-season work, and make sure that you are 100% ready when OTAs start, when mini camps start, and all of that stuff, because that's how seriously we're taking this. And he may be looking at this as more of a challenge of J.J. McCarthy rather than, any kind of lukewarm endorsement or anything like that. He might be just saying, look, I'm going to motivate this kid. I want him to be on edge a little bit. I want him to feel like nothing is there for him yet, and that he has to attack this offseason just, incredibly, so he is ready to go. Maybe that's the case. If that is, and it works out, great. It is a departure from what you normally see in these situations.
Yes, it is. Check out the John Krawczynski show. That's John's show on the Timberwolves, one of our most popular shows at the network. We're also doing a live show, 7 o'clock, Saturday night at Head Flyer Brewing with Michael Grady as our special guest. Grady's fantastic. Head Flyer's fantastic. These shows are always packed and they're a blast. Come out and say hello. You can even ask a Vikings question if you like. We'd love to see you there. Also, Mark Rosen, who emceed the first Talk North Sports Report on Wednesday night at Parlay Kitchen and Bar. His first episode of his new show for TalkNorth.com, Mark Rosen Sports Monday, will drop on Monday. He was stuck with me as his first guest, but things will get better, I promise. Plus, we had a really good conversation. We've both been in the market for many decades at this point. Right now, I want to let you know that at the Talk North Sports Report, everything I wore, I got at Twill. I never thought it'd be a clothing spokesman, John. Not me, Mr. Golf shirt, sweatshirt, and jeans. But the cool thing about Twill is their dressy clothes are more comfortable than my casual clothes. I wore Martin Digman shoes. I wore some really comfortable socks I bought at Twill. I don't know the brand name, but they're just comfortable. They wear well. I wore Brax pants. I wore a Stenstrom dress shirt. It's, again, incredibly, they're beautiful shirts and incredibly comfortable. Corneliani Italian sport coat. It's my favorite sport coat I've ever had. Again, incredibly comfortable, lightweight. I wear it everywhere. And I also wore a belt that I bought at Twill. Everything I wore, head to toe, was from Twill. I highly recommend going out there, talking to Scott Dayton and his staff. It's a great men's clothing store. It's all they do. They are experts. They're also really laid back. They love talking sports. It's a chill environment, and they will also tailor things so it actually fits you well. I couldn't recommend Twill in the Edina Galleria, Twill by Scott Dayton, any more highly than I am right now. Here's our colleague Michael Russo for Clamshell Beach Resorts.
Hey, have you been dreaming of a lake cabin lifestyle with boating, fishing, and family fun in northern Minnesota? Well, lately I've thought a lot about how cool it would be to have a getaway like so many Minnesotans. And if you're like me, you probably think that owning your own lakeside getaway is beyond your budget. Well, if you think lake cabin real estate prices keep going up, well, think again. This is Russo, and I'm here to tell you there is an affordable way to enjoy a cabin lifestyle and all that goes with it. And yes, I said affordable. I founded a Clamshell Beach Resort, which is located on the Whitefish chain of 14 lakes for you and your family to enjoy. Here's how. Clamshell has lake homes that offer deeded fractional ownership, and the keywords there are deeded and fractional. You own it. Imagine having 5 weeks a year to enjoy Clamshell with its beaches, pool, and lodge that's full of kids' activities. Is golf your game? There's a great golf course right across the road. Like winter sports? Well, you can go ice fishing, cross-country skiing, or snowmobiling right out the door at Clamshell. And there's no maintenance, no grass mowing, no snow removal. It's done all for you. And you can own a share of Clamshell Beach Resort at an affordable price. To learn more about ownership opportunities at Clamshell Beach Resort, go to cottagesonwhitefish.com or contact Pat Egan at 612-220-9819. That's cottagesonwhitefish.com or Pat Egan at 612-220-9819.
All right, the NFL meetings are happening. I want to see the tush push abolished. I'm glad they are allowing now off-field referees to notify them when they miss a call, like the face mask in the end zone in Los Angeles on Sam Darnold. And I'm still wondering exactly where this whole kickoff thing is going to end up. Do you have opinions on any of those?
Definitely on the first two. I agree with you on the tush push. Like, I just think that that's an unnatural football play. And, the advantage that is gained from someone pushing you from behind and then, and all that. I just think that it is easy to look at that and say, this isn't a fair fight. And so taking a little bit away from the offense in a game that is all heavily skewed toward the offense, I think is a good thing and totally reasonable, on the NFL's part and for the defense as well. So, I like the idea of taking that out. The other thing that I love is that I've kind of been lobbying for a long time is there should be an expedited review process for these calls that are obvious misses, either, pick up the flag or throw the flag, because when anyone can see it in real time, it should be able to just like send a message down. Hey, you missed this. Boom. Just go and go for it. I don't want to labor over another review, have the referees come to the booth and look at it over and over again and slow the game down anymore. Like, I just think that there should be a judge, up high that says, hey, you missed this. You got this wrong. Change it and go. And I would like that, honestly, Jim, for the whole replay process. Like, I understand you want the referees on the field involved in calls and see what they missed and see what, and be able to say what they were looking at and all these things. But I just think there should be some sort of neutral arbiter up top looking at everything and just ruling very quickly. Nope, you missed this. Yes, this was right. Keep going. And so the closer we get to that, I'm all for it. On the kicking thing, I don't know how to wrap my mind around this whole new kickoff thing yet. I don't necessarily like it. I understand it. If you want to tweak it, okay, but I have to see it in action before I can even conceptualize what's going on there.
I guess what I'd like to see with the kickoff, by the way, Royce hates it and can't understand anybody who even just tolerates it. I like the idea that they're trying to retain the kickoff as an actual functioning play while trying to reduce injuries. Because I've always been big on player safety. It'd be hypocritical for me to rip this. I would say, I would try just the smallest tweak. It was very obvious that teams were happy to have touchbacks, even if the ball started at the 30. I think you make it another 5 yards, 35. If it's a touchback, I think that changes the calculus for all these analytical people. And I don't think they want the opposing team starting on the 35. So I think they would kick more in the field of play and you see more returns.
That's a really good idea. I'm all for that. Something that makes it a little more damaging for the kicking team. And you at least risk and put the ball in the hands of some really exciting players a little bit more often. I think that's a great idea. I'm for that.
Who do you think should be the Vikings backup quarterback if Aaron Rodgers ends up signing with Pittsburgh?
I like the idea, I think, of a Tannehill or a Joe Flacco, someone like that. And because I don't see another option out there. Like, there isn't another Daniel Jones who you say, hey, bring him in. McCarthy starts. But if he falters for any reason, if he's ineffective or if he's injured, then you bring in player X and he can lead us to a division championship. Maybe I'm wrong because I didn't think Case Keenum was that guy, and then he came in and did it. But like, there's no obvious option to me for when you look at the rest of the field of available quarterbacks and say, hey, if you bring this guy in, maybe you can catch lightning in a bottle if you need it, and you go and the season isn't over. I want someone in that room with JJ who has been through the wars, but who also understands where his time is on the career spectrum, and that he is there to help, to mentor, to be an asset for JJ McCarthy. And I think that both Tannehill and Flacco would be those guys that would be completely comfortable with sitting in that room and just doing everything they can to help a very young quarterback figure this thing out. And then if they need to play, maybe you can win a few games with them. Maybe they have a big arm, they can do enough that, and they've been through enough, they have enough experience that they can get you through a little bit of a period of uncertainty. But I just think that everything needs to be geared toward giving JJ McCarthy the best possible environment. And so a quarterback like that makes a lot of sense to me. What do you think?
Agree completely. I think Flacco has the perfect demeanor. Tannehill is also a veteran who's a little more athletic, and he won a lot of games. I mean, he won a playoff game in New England. The guy has done some things. So I'd be happy with either. Tannehill might have more upside. Flacco just might be the more comfortable guy because he isn't even pretending he wants to be a starter anymore. He just wants to be in the league.
Yeah, and I would be interested. I guess I don't know what Ryan Tannehill believes he can still do in this league, because he hasn't been a real starter for a little bit here, but he could still be saying, hey, I've got one more in me. But I love I love the idea of him as a guy who is long enough in the tooth that he should be accepting of the position, but also there is a possibility that, hey, he could still have enough left for a 4-game stretch, for a 5-game stretch if you need it, to kind of get you through and win a few games and hold down the fort. And so that would make a lot of sense to me, as a big arm dude that can move around in the pocket, that can do some of the things that KOC really likes, and just kind of keep this thing stable and moving in the right direction should JJ not be able to make it.
Yep. Good stuff, John. Looking forward to Saturday night at Head Flyer Brewing with Michael Grady. Thanks to everyone who listens to TalkNorth.com. Check out the Talk North Sports Report and check out Rosen Sports Monday when it comes out on Monday. Big things happening at the network, thanks in part to people like John Krawczynski who've done such a great job for us. So thanks to everyone, and we'll talk to you next week.